G'day, campers. How are you? And welcome to another fantastic conversation around the campfire. Tonight, I am very, very grateful for the three people who are stepping up tonight to have a conversation with us. What does it mean to be gay? And I'm so grateful to Joe. Hey, Joe, how are you over in Sweden?
Hi. Doing great. Doing great.
Doing great. As we've just found out, doing the Swedish way of staying apart. So, Martyn, down there in Melbourne, how are you, mate?
Hi, Scott. Great, thank you.
Beautiful. And Scotty, also down there in Melbourne, how are you, mate?
Good, Scott. Thanks for having me here.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And tonight's a really special night for me, and I'm very, very grateful to have this conversation because I dream of a world in which we learn about each other so that we come from a place of understanding and not fear. But in reality, growing up in life, being gay is not always easy, and there's opportunities. So tonight I'd like to talk about it, debunk some myths, and then if it's all right with you, just open up as much as we can within the hour. And so, brilliant.
Sure.
Thank you. And we will open the questions later on. But first things first, I want to share everyone's story. And if it's all right with you, Joe, I'd like to start with you. What does it mean to be gay to you?
I'm going to throw the question back at you, Scott, and say, what does it mean to be a human being? You know, and for me as an old person now, I've come through the phase where, you know, you go through what your sexual orientation is as an identification as a young person. And for me these days, it doesn't mean anything. It is, I am who I am. And if you have a problem with it, that's your problem, not mine, because I've worked through my problems with it. And so, yeah, it really... and you know what? Just the question. I'm kind of shaking a little bit. It's a big question. Yeah. It brings up a lot of stuff. It brings up a lot of history, and it brings up a lot of the work that you have to do as a human to be okay with yourself. But these days, as somebody who's, you know, in their late 40s, I choose to live in a world where my sexual orientation plays no role in who I am. You know, I'm in an awesome relationship with somebody who I am married to, which is fantastic, you know, and I'm going to throw this out there. One of the reasons I got married was to go to Australia, thanks, because I could, you know, and living here in Sweden, I could get married, so we did. And then 3 years ago, Australia changed its mind. You know, so it's I'm a normal person. I mean, I'm not normal. I was never normal, but the big message there is, for me as a gay person, there is nothing different about the life that I choose to live from that of somebody who's in a heterosexual relationship. I'm married. I pay the bills. I've got kids. I have a job. I pay tax. I go on family holidays. I do all the normal things that other normal people do. So why should it play a role in who I am and what I do and how I treat other people, other than to be kind and gentle and not be biased about things?
That is brilliant. That is so well answered. Thank you. Because it's, I was going to save it to later, but I love the terminology today, to be happy. Mm. And is that not what it actually is? You know, to be happy within yourself, to know that you're okay as you are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
so,
and there's a lot of hard work that goes through that. And I'm pretty sure it'll come up in the conversation, you know, but there's, when you, particularly growing up in the 70s and 80s in Australia, and I grew up in a religious community. And so, you know, the message is you're evil, you're going to go to hell, you're not normal, all of these negative influences, but deep down inside, you know, you're none of those things. Yeah. So you've got to do the inner work to process that and go, no, hold on a minute. You people, you've got it wrong. I'm normal. I'm just as normal as you. And I'm going to live that life. So we do that.
Yeah, and that's brilliant. And I adore that because it's, for me, part of the essence of life is, finding out who you are and to accept who you are. That's the key to everything. So,
absolutely.
Thank you. So, because I'm going to move on to Martyn.
Yeah, I'll mute myself.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay, sorry.
Please stay in the conversation. Because the Martyn, I'm going to speak to you because I really want to share with everybody how I met you and fell in love with you in a way. Because is that okay? Because
of course,
we were inside actually Michael Laurier's men's group, and Martyn did a presentation on himself, and he came out and said, "I'm a gay man," and that's the first thing he said. And I sat back with that, and I watched Martyn present himself to the group, and I just saw a man. And I sent him a message saying, "I don't see a gay man. I just see a man."
Mm.
And I felt that in my heart. So I'm forever grateful you're in my life. But so what does it mean for you?
Well, thank you, Scott. And I feel the same, that you reached out to me. And I think being in that men's challenge I was probably the only gay man. That's probably where I'm most uncomfortable, which I realize is my own stuff. What is it? So a bit like Joe, I mean, I've done a lot of work, so I'm much more comfortable in who I am now. I'm just a man, as you say. But it still comes out occasionally. I think that fear of rejection, because I'm older than Joe, so I grew up in England in a small town, and knowing as a teenager that, you like boys more than girls, it was a very lonely and secretive life, really, like a double life, because I couldn't really talk to anyone because I didn't know anyone else like that. So there must be something wrong with me. So, I mean, I moved away from the small town and I've had a great life, but there is, I think there's still a little bit of fear that I might be rejected. I mean, even this week I did an interview for something, and it's silly when I think about it, but I took some, so I had some Buddha beads and I took them off thinking, what if he thinks I'm gay and I don't get it? Because it was another men's group thing. So I thought, oh shit, okay, it still resides a little bit, that fear, I guess. But yes, I love you say you just saw a man. I think a lot of my life I felt lesser of a man. Because I was teased about my stature. I was a skinny little runt. Well, I still am. So physically I was small, and when I moved to Australia, living in Sydney, I didn't have the body beautiful or the looks, so more issues to deal with, which, I mean, now I'm, as Joe said, your opinion of me is not really my business, so I'm okay. I've done a lot of different kinds of work, and it is what it is. I don't think the creator makes any mistakes, so I accept my body shape and size, even though, yes, I'd love to put on some weight, but that's kind of impossible. Does that?
Yeah, look, very much so.
Okay, not enough?
No, at the moment, yes, but don't worry, I'm coming for more.
I'm sure you are.
Oh, thank you.
I don't want to hog.
No, that's like life itself. There's no right way of doing anything, and this conversation, we're opening up a lot of different things. So, you know, it'll go as it goes.
Yeah,
and
great.
I appreciate the honesty inside of everything.
Sure.
So thank you. And Scotty, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, well, like both Joe and Martyn have said before me, you know, it's a journey, isn't it? Like it's you know, I knew that I was gay from a pretty young age. Like I look back now and I had thoughts maybe when I was about 6 or 7. Obviously I didn't realize what it was back then, but those thoughts were there. And then as you get into puberty, you obviously realize, you know, yeah, I like guys, and you know, you're a little bit different from everyone else. And yeah, it just becomes this big path of discovery. And yeah, like I had massive trouble at school. You know, I got teased a lot. Like when other people found out that I was gay, it just, my school life was over from that point. It was a tough time, and I went through depression. I went through anxiety, waking up every morning knowing that I had to go to school, this place where I was going to be judged for who I am. I guess I was lucky and a little bit strong in my own head that I knew that being gay wasn't wrong, because if I was gay, then how could it be wrong? Like I knew innately in myself that there was nothing wrong with me. There was just a problem with people accepting me for who I was. And so I wasn't in the right environment to be accepted. I couldn't convince them to accept me. So I had to remove myself. And like I left school early. I left school about a quarter way through year 11 because it was just too much. And my parents, bless them, like they, you know, I came out to them at pretty much around the same time. They let me leave. They let me follow my own path. You know, once they knew everything that was going on, of course they didn't want to like put me in that situation. You know, even my dad went down to the school and, you know, ripped through the principal and the vice principal, and, you know, it was pretty amazing. My sister did the same thing. Like she took me down to the school and, you know, we went to the principal and, you know, she stood up for me, and, you know, just having my family like do that was just like it was such an amazing thing. And I look back on that time now thinking, you know, I'm so lucky to have family that, you know, stood up for me. And, you know, when I was feeling, you know, the lowest of the low in my whole life, I've never felt that low. And to have them come and stick up for me and, you know, that say this is wrong. And yeah, that was just an amazing thing. And I look back on it with amazement, really, because I know a lot of people out there have terrible trouble with their families, even today in communities all across the world. So yeah, but, you know, like Joe and Martyn, I've done a lot of work on myself too. I've been through therapy, like at a lot of different points through my life. I've been through depression, I've been through anxiety, social anxiety, all of these different things, and have gone out to get the help that I've needed, whether it's from professionals or friends or family. Like always go and seek help. Like if you can't solve it yourself, like I would say to everyone out there, go and seek help, because help is out there. And you know, all you have to do is reach out for it and you'll get it. And yeah, it's given me the confidence I've needed in life. It's brought me to here where I am today, like a 40-year-old man. And I'm living my best life finally.
And that's gorgeous to hear. Like I know you personally, Scotty, and I'm so grateful for the fact that, you know, we're connected, because you're a great man.
Definitely.
You know? And
yeah, you too.
And oh, thank you. But I do want to pick up on something there. Your family support at the time when you had, and Scotty's interview was going up as we speak. I sort of put way too much pressure on Ellen, but sorry, Ellen. So. But, it's growing up, the support of your family. Did you fully feel that support, or as you went through everything, or did you block everything out because you were involved in your own situation and you didn't get to see the appreciation others had for you?
Well, it was a little bit of both, really. Like, you know, I experienced that. You know, I experienced my dad going up to the school and sticking up for me. I experienced my sister, like, taking me up there and telling people that this is wrong. But I was definitely into my own mind and, you know, blocking a lot of stuff out. Like that period when I left school, like I was 3 months holed up in my room. Like I was just like going through the trauma of what had happened to me. I think the mental trauma. And, you know, I did block everything out. Like, you know, my parents had divorced back when I was 10. I was living with my dad and my stepmom at the time, and it caused huge rifts in the family. Like me being depressed caused big, massive problems. And I ended up moving in with my mum, like after that, because it just became too much for them to deal with. And that's okay, like, because then I did have this option to go and live with my mum too. And I don't blame them for what they needed to do to move their life along. And it was probably a good thing for me too, because I needed to move my life along as well. If I had have stayed there, you know, I could have, you know, it could have gone, you know, bad for a lot longer. So everything happens for a reason, you know what I mean? And you know, by making these changes, that's how you move forward in life.
Yeah, brilliant. And thank you for that, because it's going to lead me into my question now for everybody, because I'm not overly comfortable with the phrase coming out. I would like to change that to, when did you learn to be you? So I'm going to throw that over to you, if that's okay, Joe. When did you learn that you could be you?
Last week. That's a big, like, it's kind of a sideways glance, really, when you put it that way. Because and we'll take the old term, my coming out process was a matter of me starting a relationship with somebody, and in technically my second girlfriend, and not wanting to hide it from my family. And I was, it's like you're rubbing against yourself, you know, like, you know, it was a long, arduous process in my late teens and early 20s where, you know, you start to realize that there's something wrong with you. Why am I not interested in boys? Why am I not getting boyfriends like everybody else? Why am I having much more fun hanging out with the girls? Oh my God, I'm going to hell. Again, still in the religious context. And then you sort of find yourself ending up having those sexual explorations with your best friend and going, yeah, this is my bag. And, you know, I lived, that was sort of 1920. And then when I was 21, I was starting a new relationship, and I just couldn't hold it in my body anymore. And, you know, I'm a really physical person. And when I'm doing things I don't like to do, my body reacts. And it, you know, I get pain and I get uncomfortable, and it's a really physical reaction. And the only way to stop it is to go, you know what, fuck it. I'm just this is me. This is what I'm doing. Deal with it, because I can't, or I won't, or I'm not going to hide it from you, you know. And so that me being me process was, I really dumped it on my family, but it was relieving at the same time. And as my father said to me not long after all of that, is, we've never really expected you to be normal, which was quite nice. But it, you know, it's the other side of it is it's not just one moment, you know, you spend years and years and years and years and years having to let people know that you are in a same-sex relationship. You know, to the point where even when I first moved here and I had a job working in the building industry, and, you know, you meet people all the time, and I would never be honest about my relationship. And it's because it's like I can't be bothered going through the bullshit of explaining to you who and what I am, because I'm never going to see you again. We're having a lunchtime conversation, and I can't be bothered getting over that hurdle. So it's something that you're still doing every day of your life. But I have to admit, when I started my company, I stopped doing it.
Yeah, okay.
I started my own business I didn't start started working full time for myself 8 years ago. And then I just kind of went, you know what? I'm over explaining that to people. Just deal with it.
Yeah.
you know, and I choose to correct them if they go, "Oh, your husband." I go, "No, my wife." Yeah. And there's a part of me, it's just like, really, you can't work it out? Look at me, for God's sake. But, you know, like,
on that though, like it's from someone like myself, I can't tell. I can never tell. I will never, because it's not. I don't look for it. You're a human, and I'm going to love you with all I've got, regardless.
Yeah.
So, there's something. Sorry.
No, you're right. I would say that's conditioning on my behalf.
Yeah.
You know, and there is a very big part of me that likes to have a fight, right? And that's just an automatic reaction. For God's sake, just look at me. Make the judgment. You know, let's get the judgment over and done with so we can get on with our lives. And it's a conditioning thing that's come from years of having that judgment, and, you know, and the name calling and all of that.
So you know, I'm listening to it, and I just, the years that you've gone through the process. So there's been a lot of pressure on you to own you. Can we break that down a little bit?
Sure. And it's because society, now you've just taken the lid off, haven't you? You know, and speaking of my own experience, right? Society judges you from the moment you're born. But when you grow up in a world where from every message you're getting is there's something wrong with you, to the not just that you're a creep or you're a weirdo, but you're a horrible person. And I mentioned to this when you actually asked me if we would have this conversation, to the point where you're a pedophile or you're abusing people or all of those things that for me are a horrible, horrible thing. And that in itself grinds against me. And, you know, like I say, there's different parts of me. As a mature adult, I can sit down, have mature conversations and be calm and try and talk through something. But as a young person, I just want to fight you over it because it's not who I am. All those judgments that are placed on you, you fucking dyke. Fuck off, you fucking dyke. It's like, come on, man. Can't we all just be nice to each other? But when you're getting that week in, week out, it hurts you.
Yeah.
Because you're being judged on things that you're just not.
Yeah.
You know, you're
being judged on one tiny little part of you instead of the whole, you know, the whole of you. You know what I mean? And
that you know, that tiny little part of you is something that's evil. You know, you're an evil person who's abusing other people because of who you. And again, my experience, right? Yeah. But I think that's the part that grates me so much, is that we are, or I have been, and many people in my life have been labeled something that, you know, you're continually labeled as something is less than. No, you're less than. I'm just like, you know, that's not the way I choose to live my life. And it doesn't go away. And this is, I still experience it when I go back home. I don't experience it as much here, which is part of the reason why I like to live here in Sweden, for anybody who's curious. Because the Swedes have a wonderful way of accepting people for who they are without that judgment. And then I go home and, you know, like Martyn said, he had an interview and he was still scared he might not get the job that he was going for because they might work out he's gay. It's like, why do we have to put that part of ourselves away? And we've had to do it our entire lives, and it's unfair. You know, you've got to keep a part of yourself hidden just because you choose to love somebody, because another human makes your heart sing, and that person happens to be of the same gender as you. What is that? You know, it breaks your heart. So you just keep pushing forwards. And you wake up every day, you keep going, and then one day you're in your midlife crisis and you go, fuck it, I can't be bothered with any of you anymore.
Firstly, I want to say thank you for fighting every day, because you're worth it.
Thank you.
It's something that I don't understand, and I really appreciate you being honest with that, because it's something that my closest mates are gay, and I've never seen them as gay. I only see them as two men that just adore each other.
Mm.
And the sparkle in your eye just then, when you talked about someone that you love, is what life's about for me. And
Isn't it? Can't it be? Isn't that why we're here?
that's why we're here, because it should be and it can be. So, yeah, thank you. So, I'm going to move down to Martyn, if that's all right, and share with us, what was the pressure like to be you, and how did it all come about?
What was the pressure like?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't come out yet. I'm thinking about it. Well, I'm almost serious. I never did. I never came out to my family, which I don't have many regrets in life. I probably do regret that. I don't have any siblings. Mum and dad have both passed. So they certainly knew I was gay, but we never talked about it. So just like any of my family, except one day one of my cousins in England mentioned, we were having coffee together, mentioned my boyfriend when I nearly spat out my coffee because I was like, shit, how do I answer this? But of course she was just telling me that it's okay.
Yeah.
We know, and it's fine. So, I think to what Joe said about me just this week, that stuff is in my head. It's probably not in the person who was talking to me, his head. So, as I discovered, a few years ago, that a lot of gays are their own worst homophobe, which sounds crazy, but I saw Byron Katie. I don't know if you know Byron Katie, the beautiful Byron Katie. I saw her work with a gay guy who said his mother didn't accept him, and she did the work with him. And of course, it was himself who didn't accept him. I think because we are different and we're in a minority group, and you feel, the shame. So it's often, yes, there are bigots out there. Like, I can't believe people of color still have a problem. God, I would love to have colored skin, but it's just, Scott, you're one of a kind, and there's more of you, thank goodness now. But you are, you are one of a kind. We just want to accept everyone for who they are, which is fantastic. And we need to get that message out, of course. But there are still so many racists and bigots and homophobes and whatever. So for me, I was fortunate enough to go and work, well, all my life really, apart from a stuffy accountant's office, for 3 years. Then I worked in the theatre. So I guess that was no accident, because of course, A, there were so many gays, and B, I was accepted because, just part of the furniture so that my whole life has been, because I think for me, being gay, I often didn't feel safe. I was bashed up in the street when I was probably, a teenager. Probably not because I was gay, just because I was a skinny little thing, and two horrible local lads beat me up in the street, which I lied about to my parents because I was so ashamed. So I always, I wanted to live in safe areas, be in a job that was safe. So safety was a big thing throughout my life. I'm much more comfortable now with who I am, because I know I'm a good human being, and that's all I need to be. And I care about people, and I want to give back, and yeah, I want to help other people who might be struggling with this issue that we as gay people might go through.
Yeah. I'm going to correct you there. You're not a good man. You're a great man. And I'm serious on this because it's not the work in which you do and the honesty in which you take it is just phenomenal. And I'm rapt today that you and Scott are actually meeting because Scott's taking on the journey of he wants to become come on, brain kick in.
That's right.
PC, thank you very much. But the reason why you want to become a PT is because of the influence a PT had on you and how much of a mentor he became. Simply because, okay, you work on your physical, but he's also giving you opportunities in your mental. And I think in life, Martyn, for me, you work within men's groups, you take on big opportunities to help people with love in your heart, and that's to me what yeah. So sorry, you're not a good man. You're a great man.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Yeah, and that's what I was applying to be this week as a volunteer role as a men's mentor, which I think I would be good at. But it was just that fear of if they're mostly straight men, which is fine by me, then would I be accepted? But yeah, my own stuff, I take it on board.
Yeah, well, I'd like to dive into something, if that's all right, and it's a little bit. I don't know. I spoke to Scotty about it, and just on the side note, if anybody hasn't watched all the one-on-ones of the three amazing humans sitting here, watch it. They're beautiful people, know what they do. So we'll move along a little bit because one of the things I spoke to Scotty about yesterday, I think it was one of those, finding a partner, I would have thought wouldn't be overly easy because, well, do you know what I mean? Like there's obviously there's gay bars, gay opportunities, but like to get the confidence for me as a heterosexual male, there's women everywhere, it's easy, no dramas. But to find the confidence and actually come into being you and then find a partner, I would presume there wouldn't be a heap of information out there for you. I could be wrong. Please educate me on this. We're going to start with you, Scotty.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really funny, like talking about relationships. It's I'm a big believer in you've probably got to love yourself first before someone else is going to love you. I think you're probably pretty lucky in this life if you I don't want to use the word damaged, but I'll just use it here in place of a better word. But you're pretty lucky in this life if someone comes along, finds someone like that and can fall in love with you besides all your flaws, besides all of your everything that you've been through in life to sort of make you who you are now. So, and it's taken me a long time to learn to love myself. Like I've got to say, I throughout like a lot of my life, I've had just sort of like my family's been really good, but friendship groups I've had a lot of troubles with, and in high school, coming out and going into the gay world, and and trying to identify yourself as a gay person and living like through that, and then getting friends who identify the same way. And then, I had troubles with them too, and they all just like shunned me like after a few years. And so there was just these massive self-confidence issues that I had that I needed to work through. And at the time you think it's me, but no, it's not actually me. It's you. You're the assholes. You're the ones who didn't understand who I am as a person and just wanted to keep judging me. So through a lot of work, I've learnt to love myself, probably just like in the last 10 years. And so it's been like relationship wise, it has been pretty hard for me. Like, of course, I went out to all the gay bars, and there's like online dating, like even before Tinder and even before Grindr and all of that came along, you know, there were like gay forums and stuff like in the first vestiges of the internet. Like that was probably where a lot of gay people congregated first, because, you know, it was so hard out there in the world because there were a lot of prejudices as well. So online communities, I think, you know, in the late 90s and stuff, were just full of gay people, and, you know, I did connect with a lot of people there. But yeah, relationships have very much eluded me, and it's probably a combination of everything that I've been through in my life. But I'd love to be in a relationship. Like I've got a lot of love to give, and I hope someone's got a lot of love to give to me too. And, you know, I'm slowly, you know, getting out there, and COVID definitely hasn't helped. It's put a dampener on things for the past year or so. So I'm hoping that everything sort of clears up in that respect, because yeah, I want to get out there. I want to be meeting people, and, you know, I feel like I'm in the prime of my life at the moment, and I want to find someone, like, you know, for true. Like when I heard you've been with someone for 10 years, like I'm just, wow. I'd be so lucky to have something like that, and you know, it's amazing to hear, you know, people in the gay world who have relationships for that long, because I think it's still a bit of a misnomer. Like for a lot of people, like they think, oh wow, I can't believe they've lasted that long, but they do, and they have, and yeah, it's just amazing, and I love seeing the examples out there. Especially people like yourself who are making it, and, you know, have a family and have a loving partner, and yeah, kicking ass.
That is beautiful. Thank you. But I want to grab something and run with that, because to have a lasting relationship, you've got to be a bit strong yourself. You've got to have done enough work on yourself in order to have that relationship. And from my limited experience inside the gay world, and I've partied in lots of gay clubs, I've got gay mates, and I love. I hate saying the word, to be honest, because I just they're my mates. I love them, but I sort of wonder how much of the short-term relationships within the community are because of the confidence that people don't have in themselves to actually be themselves. And because I'm so lucky in the fact that my gorgeous mates, Robert Eric, I love them with all my heart. If anything ever happens to Marcella and I, Oscar lives with them, because they love us, we love them. And they've been together for 20 odd years. And when we went to their wedding, it was the best wedding I ever went to, because instead of everybody sort of coming up and celebrating them, they walked around and put a lei over everybody and thanked everybody for coming. So they came and thanked everybody before they even did the ceremony. So the love in the room was just amazing. So to go back to the question, do you think that a lot of long-term relationships are harder to find because people aren't confident in themselves? Scotty.
Yeah, that's definitely my experience. Yeah, I have had a lot of short-term relationships, you know, 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year for a couple of them. But yeah, and I think it's a confidence thing within yourself. It's not projecting who you are, but actually being who you are instead of projecting something else. Like, you know, we all wear masks in this life sometimes, you know, especially when we're trying to figure out who we are. And then at one stage they all just like fly off, you know, and then you're left with this one, and this is me. And now that, you know, now that I've got that confidence, it's an amazing thing. Like, it's an amazing thing to feel within yourself. And you just want to share it with everyone. Yeah. And so, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
No, it does, because like and the nods from both Joe and Martyn also did that. So thank you very much, Scotty. Martyn, over to you. Like, finding a relationship, you know, and how have you found that? And how did you find that?
Well, I agree with something Scotty said, that we need to love ourselves, of course. But in any relationship, it's only when I can love all of me that I can love all of you. So I guess we come to, well, I think, you know, I believe we meet people for a reason, for lessons. So whether it's a short-term, long-term, friends, whatever. But for me, I'm probably a token gay because I never really liked the gay bars or gay clubs. I felt very insecure. I always found a lot of... Pardon me?
Can I ask why you felt insecure in the gay bars and gay clubs?
Why?
Yeah, is that all right?
I think, yeah, I don't know what. I guess I found a lot of people were arrogant, looking down, but because that's a mask. Arrogance is a mask.
Yeah.
Usually shyness or something. So I just didn't like that atmosphere for me at all. I wasn't comfortable. I have a relationship, and I've had two in my life. And I guess both, because I thought I probably would never have one.
Yeah.
It was just my feeling. I'm not going to have one. It's not for me, whatever. But I met someone in London who was visiting from Australia. He was the cousin of my best friend, and we hit it off. And then I came here on a working holiday, and I'm still here. So we stayed together for about 20 years, but it was very tumultuous because he turned out to be bipolar. Still a good friend. And then I went to another place I'd never wanted to go to, which was Bali. And I met a dancer there, which is what I always wanted to be. And we're still together. It's been a long-term relationship, but it's just come to a nice kind of comfortable place. So yeah, I have a house over there, and of course I can't go there right now, but so yeah, that's my relationship story. But a lot of insecurities around gay bars, gay clubs, gay crowds, parties. I'm not even good at parties.
I don't know. Working with Circus du Soleil, I'm sure that there's a certain party style that you would be into, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I guess when you know people, it's so opening night parties, yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, brilliant, thank you. Because I find listening to you then, Martyn, like you're incredibly respectful man, and listening to you talk about the gay bars and the masks and the opportunities in that, and it sort of, and I'm taking judgment upon what I'm sort of feeling, is it's a real big confidence opportunity, that to actually go into a place and actually just be you, and
yeah,
in a taboo sort of place, it'd be difficult, like if people are running for themselves as much as anything. So to create that synergy of love is so hard when you can't really be you in everyday life.
No, because in those places it's probably more about lust, and that's okay, but it's most people are there for, well, they might be catching up with friends, but they might be looking for something more. And a lot of the gay sexual activity I've never really been into, and I mean that's a whole other topic, I know. So I just lost my thought then. I was going to say something really profound, of course, but it went.
Can I just say something maybe while you're thinking about it, Martyn? Like, I felt exactly the same thing because, I actually felt quite uncomfortable in gay bars as well. And, there's not that many of them around anymore, like, especially in Melbourne, like a lot of them have sort of disappeared. But, back in the 90s and the 2000s, like, it is it's a hard place to be yourself because it's a heady mix of like guys, like everywhere doing whatever, drinking, all of those sort of things. And it's a hard place to be yourself, find yourself. And if you don't have a strong core, or you don't have a strong group like around you who accept you for who you are, it can be really daunting. And I felt that a lot of times, and probably why I never, like, I've always probably sort of found people to date or relationships more online than, being out like at a party or, a gay club or something like that. And yeah, definitely it's a place that can, bring up a whole mix of emotions for sure.
Yeah. And I never used to drink much. I don't drink now, but I never used to drink much. I've never done drugs. So I'm really, as I said, token gay. But what I was going to say, the work we do on ourselves, or certainly the work, I speak for myself, the work I've done on myself was not because I was gay, just because of all the baggage. But I think that obviously, comes as a package which helps you with your whole self, including the gay side.
Definitely.
Yeah, interesting, because I'll move over to Joe in a sec, but I used to go to under Vauxhall Station in London. It was a gay bar. We'd go there. Yeah. I can't remember the name.
Vauxhall Tavern.
Yes. No, but we used to go there. Like
I've heard of it.
We go there because back in those days I was blowing myself apart, right? And a straight guy in a gay bar, I was there with a mate every time. No, we were fine, like it's we knew the guys, no dramas, but we were there to blow ourselves apart just as much as anybody else. And looking back at that time in my life, and the way I felt inside the scenario was everybody was running from something. I was. So, and that's why I felt at home there. So, mate, that's another topic for another day. But yeah. And so, but anyway, so I'm going to thank you guys. That's awesome, the openness. Joe, the same question, please. If you can, we still remember the question?
No.
Finding a partner and like it's
I got all caught up in the my head went straight back to the club scene in the 90s and early 2000s. Anyway, fun but finding a partner. Look, I'm a self-confessed serial monogamist, right? So I have been looking for a partner for my whole life. And when I look at my large relationships, I've been looking for this same person. But the thing, the hurdle that you have to get over is not just yourself, but the story that we're told that we're supposed to be looking for in the relationship. And the thing that comes up for me when we discuss this is I went through a really big relationship breakup that landed me in all kinds of substance abuse and alcoholism and all kinds of stuff. It destroyed me. And my brother-in-law's best friend went through a relationship breakup at the same time. And I remember hearing my mum talk about this guy's relationship breakup and saying, oh, it's like a divorce, really, isn't it? But my relationship breakup was just something that was inevitable. And that, for me, was this moment where it's just like, you people have no faith in my ability to hold on to a relationship. And that is because I am gay or I'm in a same-sex relationship. And that's shit. That is the story that we're fed. We really are fed a story that we can't hold on to a relationship because it's not a heterosexual one, it's not a normal one, it's not right or whatever. And how many young people can hold on to a relationship? How many people are getting divorced these days in their 30s and 40s? Like, fuck off with your prejudices. But at the end of the day, I have my wife and I have just celebrated being together for 13 years. We met in Sydney playing rugby in 2007, which was really, really cool. And it has not been an easy path. you know, our relationship has had some really big ups and downs, but we've been willing to work on it. And that for me is the key in any relationship. Doesn't matter who you are, what gender you are. If you are willing to work on yourself and the relationship and realize that the relationship is an entity unto itself, people grow, people change, people get older, people understand new things. And your relationship will do those things too. And sometimes you grow apart, sometimes you grow closer together, sometimes you just keep going this way. But it's a give and take, and you've got to grow with it, and you've got to work on it. You've really, really got to work on it. Otherwise, it just, you know, and as some people come to realize, they go, you know what, this isn't working. We need to go our separate ways. And let's do that. But I think for relationships, no matter who you are and what you're doing, my number one tip is just to be honest. Be honest with what you want. Be honest with who you are. Yeah. You know, when I see relationship breakdowns, you know, and they happen all around you. A lot of our friends are breaking up at the moment, and it's just like, it has a lot to do with the fact that one of them has just been incapable of being honest with themselves and their partner about something. And, you know, it's not pretty. Yeah. Relationships aren't pretty. They're hard work. But if that's what you want, then work for it. Yeah? Because then, for me, what I want is somebody who I can think about, and as I look up, because my wife is 180 centimeters tall, and I am not. I look up. But when I think about her, my heart just swells with joy, and it has done for 13 years. You know, and that's what I want. That's what I want in my life. So I work for it.
And that's just gorgeous, because a relationship is that, and it's basically a road that you've got to build together. Yeah. And it takes work, and you've got to keep working at it to get the road to where you want to go. And I really want to thank you for that, Joe. That was just beautiful. The way in which you talk about your wife and look up to her.
I'm a Taurus, man. She's a giant, right? Like,
I love it.
She's really a typical Swede. You know, they're all 6 foot tall. Like
yeah.
And I'm 5'3". So, you know.
But it's what I'm hearing right now, and it's like and I'm going to go out on a bit of a limb and then bring it back a bit. But in general, most people think of and I'm using myself here, as a gay relationship as a short, sharp thing that's a bit of a flamboyant fling. And the reality is, when you do the work on yourself, like the three of you are, and the love that you have, it's just beautiful. So I'm sort of hearing in this. I came here today to demyth fears and just share the love of what people are, just beautiful people. But I'm actually hearing a deeper message inside this today, and correct me if I'm wrong, but within the gay community, you need to love yourself a little bit more so that you can enjoy the relationship, the love that a relationship can bring. You know, that look in your eye, then, Joe. Talking about your partner, it's just pure love. It's just gorgeous. That's
my wife.
But I'm sorry, I'm just in my mode.
No, you're good. I'm just, throwing in some comedy there.
Bring it at me. I need it. So I do get too serious, but also, Martyn, when you talk about those relationships and the way you hold your partners dear, it's no different to the way in which I hold my wife dear.
No,
we all
like Joe. I mean, when I see Mowgli and he's soft and gentle, or he's playing with the dogs, I mean, my heart just melts. It's like, wow, and the accent and the incorrect words. It's like, yeah, my heart melts, and it still does, which is beautiful.
And that's, do you know what? I actually understand that, because my wife is Slovak, and when she gets the words wrong, and I get the little bit of cute.
Yeah.
So, yeah, beautiful. Well, listen, we're moving along in time. We're already at the 55-minute mark, and there's so much we can talk about because, you know, this is the start of the conversation, and I just hope it doesn't end here. And I'm going to put it out to everybody. On this panel is 3 amazing people that I just adore because they're open and honest, and they love with all their hearts. If you have a question, if you want to know something, reach out to any of these people because I can positively tell you they'll give you their honesty and their love. On that, I'm going to ask each of you for one bit of advice. Joe, there's a young girl and she likes girls. She doesn't know where to go. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't think anyone's got her back. She doesn't think anyone's... What would you say to her?
You're going to be okay. You're not alone. Find somebody who you can talk to and keep searching, but you're not alone. Come and talk to me. Find somebody older who's been through what you're going through so you can talk to them and understand that you're going to be okay.
Oh, thank you. Martyn, same question.
Well, I would say there's nothing wrong with you. Live your life authentically. Just be yourself. And as Joe said, reach out, talk to people. But the main thing is, yeah, you're a beautiful person. There's nothing wrong with you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Scotty?
Yeah, I would just say that, you know, there's definitely people out there who want to talk to you and want to hear everything that you have to say. It may just be your perception more than anything else, and you know, the moment that you will try to reach out to someone, they'll probably be reaching out right back to you, and they'll give you the help that you need. And all it takes is to reach out and say, you know, help me, or, you know, I'm this way, or I'm that way, or I'm, you know, I just want to talk. Can you talk to me? People are pretty good and decent deep down most of the time, and may not find it the first time, but you'll find it the second time, or the third time, and the third time, and the fourth time, and the fifth time.
Gorgeous. Thank you. Tonight, I'm not going to have the final word. I just want to say thank you to the 3 of you because I think the world of you. I'm so proud of each of you. On that,
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Scott.
Let's not let this conversation finish here.
Yeah.
Campers, take care. Thank you, panel, and we'll be back next week. We've got a big topic next week: ice addiction. So we're going right into it. A couple of ex-addicts. We've got a coach on who's doing amazing work, and you know, we're here to talk about everything because people are beautiful, and we need to understand each other. So, on that, thank you so much, everybody. Take care.
Thanks, Scott.
Bye.
See you, Joe. See you, Martyn.
See
Bye.
you. Take care, guys.